Hello everyone and welcome today. I'll just go on to the next slide. My name is Lindsay Pentelow. I'm the Creative Director of the School of Media and Comms, and I work across all of the school, but also all of the university as a whole. So central to my role is really liaising with students. I really like to get to know as many people as possible, and also really work with you on your showcasing to get the fantastic work that students produce out into our buildings, out into the world, and out on social media as well. And then I'm joined today by Kath, who might have already introduced herself while I
didn't actually introduce myself.
Okay.
Hello everyone. I'm lucky enough to say that I work with Lindsay and we work at the School of Media and Communications. I'm a college admissions tutor. It's a way of explaining that I teach and also facilitate admissions. So your applications, I do outreach, I do my best to make sure you understand that what we do here is for you, and we'd love you to come and join us.
Okay, so I'm going to talk a bit briefly about UAL and how kind of LCF fits within that, how we work as a large organisation. Then Kath's going to run through the different courses and give a bit of detail about them. And I think we've got a good 20 minutes or so for questions at the end. So anything that crops up, hold on to it, and then we've got some time at the end to go through those. So our college, London College of Fashion, is one of 6 colleges within the UAL family. So it's the big kind of educational creative family based all across London. And UAL is one of the world leading universities for art and design. And I just think across all of the colleges, we are at the cutting edge of all of the creative subjects. We cover so many different things. So this slide this explains who we are really and what the core of LCF is and why we exist. And really that's distilled into to shape lives through fashion. So we have fashion means business, fashion tells stories, fashion makes style, and fashion looks forward. So in essence, what this means is by leading the way in fashion design, business and the media, we want to influence culture, we want to influence economics and influence our society. And it's through all of these facets, that's how we want to shape lives. So really what we want to do is give our students the skills, opportunities and freedom to influence the world of fashion, and then through fashion, influence the world. So there's a few key things about LCF that I just are going to draw on today to tell you about. So enterprise and employability. We have fantastic support for you getting into industry. We have a graduate futures team and also a Centre for Fashion Enterprise. And these teams really support all students in business and employability. And they really help you prepare for when you graduate, when you're looking for work or when you are working, and really giving you those skills to go out into the world. And digital. We really want to lead, and we do lead the way in digital technology, and you will see this across all of the different courses. We work closely with Fashion Innovation Agency, Digital Anthropology Lab, we have a digital learning lab, and all these different people work alongside our students to help innovate and explore options so that you can really push your projects and really bring your work into the most cutting edge way that you can. Sustainability, this is a huge priority for us, and it's just one of the biggest priorities for us as LCF. We have a Centre for Sustainable Fashion, and they've been doing pioneering work in this field for about the last 10 years, but it's absolutely embedded in everything we do. And it's those principles of like sustainability, diversity and social responsibility that you'll find in every single course that you do, as it is just so important in the world in which we live today. So empowerment. So interestingly, LCF, when it was established 110 years ago, it was to train women to work in the couture houses of the East End. And so ever since, we've really worked towards empowering women throughout history. We have a social responsibility team. They run a huge range of interesting projects, and it's this empowerment that's really at the ethos of everything that they do. And so excitingly, Stratford. So you will be the first set of students that land in our fabulous new buildings, which are, the building is built, it's being kitted out at the moment, and they're quite frankly fantastic. I, for one, cannot wait to get into them. The staff are really excited, and it will be a really great move. This is more than just a building to us. We're really working already with local, national and international partners to bring benefits to our students. So here's another visualization of the building. So it's in Stratford in East London. This is the first time that we unite. We've got 6 different campuses as part of LCF all over London, and the first time in our history that they're all coming together, and it's a really state-of-the-art space. And I think what's going to be really different and really great is the collaboration and community that we're going to have. So we'll have like a new home, we'll have digital developers working alongside designers, we'll have psychologists, and they can collaborate with image makers, marketing theorists, can work with curators. We can really redefine what fashion is by connecting these disciplines, and it would be so much easier when we're in one place. And so we really want to show London and the world what all these possibilities look like, and how our students, staff and community, again through fashion, can really shape lives. What's really great about the Stratford move is we're moving to an area that's been named East Bank. So there's other new buildings there as well, and we're going to be like a cultural powerhouse with our local partners. So we have the BBC, Sadler's Wells, UCL, V&A, and they're all building brand new state-of-the-art buildings. I think a couple are already built, one's due in a couple of months after us. And I just think these collaborations, we're already working with them a lot. We had a summer program, and it's just going to grow and grow. And so many of our courses go hand in hand with things that these large businesses offer, that it was going to be just a fantastic area to work in. There's so much new stuff going on, and it would just be great all to be in one home together. It's been a huge investment. I think oh, there it is in the slide, the biggest investment since the 1950s. So I don't know how many of you know Stratford, but I think the area has changed remarkably. And I, for one, September 23 cannot come soon enough for me. And now, so we're part of the School of Media and Communication. That's part of LCF. And I'm just going to quickly show a film that just gives a bit of an overview of what we as a school are about in terms of the university. So now I'm back into technology. So I'm just going to share a slide. Hopefully, if I just do, Kath, if I just share camera, I think that's what I want to click, isn't it?
Yes, that should work.
We
are.
That's just me. You can also share files.
That should, but
application screen. Yes, sorry. It does that weird thing.
Of, see everything on your screen, but it's a thing of beauty.
Oh, I pride myself on a very.
Mine does. Luckily, no one can see my screen. It's very busy.
So it does this. Okay, so this is just an intro to the school.
We aren't hearing accompanying sound with that. Oh, now we are. Thank you.
It's not essential. It's more about the work.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So apologies for everyone. You won't be able to hear Jessica Bugg, our dean, explaining some stuff, but the work will speak for itself.
Okay, so I'll just unshare. Apologies you couldn't hear the sound, but I think really what's exciting about the video that we wanted to share was some of the amazing work that comes out of the school. The video is also online, so when we're doing the Q&A, I will dig out the link and I can pop it in the chat so that you can all have a look at it, and then we'll get back, Kath, get back the presentation. Is that?
So exactly as you were before, go back where you found.
Yeah. Oh, here we are. Share now. What page? Oh, we're here.
Perfection. And here it comes.
There we go. So a lot of what Jessica was saying. So Jessica Bugg is the Dean of School of Media and Comms, and she was kind of talking a bit about our vision and just about the different courses which Kath is going to run through after I stop speaking of what's available. But really the vision of our school, of the media and communication, is a community that shapes the future of fashion, media, communication and performance industries through a shared understanding as the body of creative sight. And so cross-disciplinary practice and collaboration provides so many exciting opportunities within the school. So pictured here, this is a collaboration between some costume students, Fashion Innovation Agency and the Outernet. The Outernet is a brand new digital space with the largest digital screens, I think, in Europe. And then we had content filmed, we had dancers in there, and that we worked together on a fantastic project with them. And here, this is working with the research community. This is a real catalyst for many of our projects. This is an image from Project Rego, which is a recent project that explored how fashion activism can lead to positive social change, and it's through a bespoke fashion collection. So we had students from the media subjects creating the campaign for an exhibition which was co-curated by young people from East London, and that was in collaboration with local fashion brands. And then they ran an exhibition, and after the exhibition, the new collection was then available to rent. Knowledge exchange. So this is something that's really embedded in our school, and we work with some really cutting edge industry partners that are fantastic and really exciting to work with. And we want to work with them to explore new ways that we can collaborate and co-curate with them. So we had a theme last year that was all about radical play, and we had different events, we had panel discussions all around this theme, working with our partners who then kind of inform and help us innovate within our disciplines. And so some of the people we worked with last year were Nowness, Galdem, Dazed, Superimposed Global, really exciting and importantly really current voices that are in the creative industries. So yeah, industry collaborations, very key. In year 2 is when we have a placement unit. So this is when students all get the opportunity to go on placement, or you work on industry briefs. I think placements are fantastic. They really help you understand the working landscape you're going into after graduating. And I think they can really help with your direction of your 3rd year, what work you want to do, and where you want to take your career upon graduation. And then always we have some random projects that you never see coming, but lo and behold, they're always fantastic. Last year we were approached by the BBC and we had costumes. We designed 8 different costumes that were shown during the Platinum Jubilee whilst Duran Duran were performing on the BBC. So an international audience of millions, modelled by a whole range of different famous faces. So that was a project that cropped up that some students then worked on. And then another fantastic project which is live at the moment in the centre of Soho, and this is a 250-foot long street of hoardings, and illustration and imaging students, and that was from across all 3 years. They were briefed to bring to life like the past, present and future of the area whilst it like underwent building works. So again, a fantastic opportunity for showcasing, and also a really great chance to work on live client briefs, because it really just prepares you for when you have graduated. As I touched on before, digital learning and innovative teaching and learning is really central to us and central to your experience. We're really always exploring and expanding the application of media and technology and defining their role in your practice. Our students and researchers are really leading the way in technology industries. And so then it kind of leading on to our school, as I touched on before, we've got 3 different program areas: fashion communication, fashion media and performance, and then there's a range of different BA subjects, all then feed into one of these 3 streams, and Kath's going to give a bit more detail about what sits where and kind of what you can expect from the different courses. Kath, would you like me to continue to do the slides, or are you going to?
I would love it if you didn't mind, because there won't be too much movement. That would be really useful. No. You can hear me. My mic's doing something on my screen, but yeah, as long as I can be heard. So thank you so much for that, Lindsay. And I think Lindsay's done a brilliant job of sort of summarising what we find to be central and important. It's telling me I'm having trouble sharing my audio. You sure everyone can hear me?
I can hear you good.
Okay, we're going to carry on then. I love the fact that it's telling me I'm having problems and you guys can hear me. I mean, look, I think the big central thing that I've found, so as a college admissions tutor, as I say, I teach, but also it is about sharing and talking to people like yourselves who've joined us today about what we do and what's important to us, what is central to our operation. And that vision statement really is important. It's about interrelationships. It's about making sure that our core values of collaboration, openness, and communication are just always met. We really want you as potential students, if you join us to become, you know, our undergraduates, you're going to spend time working on those skills and integrating them, but also using them to get to, and I'll keep saying innovation, but let's just try the cutting edge. We're going to get you to shape the industry in a new, refreshing way that reflects how you think. We talk to you. We don't talk at you, we talk to you. It is very much a collaborative relationship. So I'm going to go through the courses. Forgive me, it is a bit of a list, but I think it's worthwhile just giving you a sense of what to expect. All of the information is online. So if you want to know about a course, use the title, tap it in on a search engine, and you will find it. So let's start with that communication program. In general, our communication program is grouped together because they are courses that help you, teach you, work with you, and encourage you to find new and innovative ways to communicate what fashion is, what's happening in the industry, what happens in fashion. So I'll start with creative direction for fashion, best described as, again, you might hear this phrase a couple of times, multidisciplinary. That just means a lot of different ways gathered under one umbrella. So multidisciplinary communication, right? And it's about interface design and art direction. Students, they're learning to develop and implement appropriate, compelling, strategic, creative vision. So a company will come to you with a brief and you'll work out how to share that information on their behalf, but in a compelling, fashion-forward way, a phrase you might hear me say a couple more times. You learn to identify, anticipate, and respond to communication opportunities. What's new? What is going on? How can you tell a story on behalf of a brand in a different way? Students work with industry, right? Our industry practitioners and our lecturers are very much based in or have been in and around this subject area. And they're really pushing to work in emerging digital technologies. So creative direction for fashion really is about, it genuinely lives on innovation. It eats on it, it feeds innovation. So using the latest technology, but also combining it lovingly with more traditional visual comms is a really great way to deliver that. Careers for our graduates include art direction, creative direction, trends and innovation research, experienced designers and producers. The course leader is Shanu Walpita and is currently in industry as well as managing, although that's quite tough to do both, I can assure you. It's a really sought after course and it's really important. I'm just hearing that one of our attendees can't hear me. I have no way of checking if the rest can't. Let me just.
I can hear. I can also confirm this. I think it's being recorded, so then it will be able to be shared afterwards.
I don't think it is. I've just unmuted just to check.
I can hear you. I just said Gracie can't hear. I can't speak. Leave and then just click the link again.
Thank you, Lola. So Gracie said she couldn't hear me, but Lola and Asia are responding to what I'm saying. So thank you very much. Interesting. Okay, I'm not really going to answer too many questions because I've got quite a few courses to go through, but just to respond to you because you've been so helpful, and Lucas and Max, thank you very much too. Aisha, just to say, creative direction is about making, right? It's central, but we expect you in all of our courses here at SMC to have a healthy mix. They're degrees. These are degree level courses. So you will be researching. We expect really developed and in-depth research that goes along with any project you deliver, but you're actually going to put stuff together. You'll put portfolios of work together, you'll put projects together, you'll show those and illustrate those and hand those in. So there's a very practical vein with this course. However, never forget, this is degree level, which means there's writing at every term. Thank you all very much, and apologies, Gracie. We might need to message to let you know to log in and back out again. Okay, I'm going to move forward to BA Fashion, Public Relations and Communication. Pleasure, Aisha. The best way to describe this is it's all about doing the job, right? So if you know about fashion, you'll know that people are sharing fashion messages, and those are public relations and communication specialists. They're the ones that work with the brand. And on behalf of the brands, they work out how best to share your message. What is the message? They'll distill it and they'll share it on your behalf. So it's very much about the principles of branding, but it's not marketing. Let me make that clear. This is about messages. This is about comms. This is about speaking on behalf of designers. This is about speaking on behalf of fashion houses, but also crisis PR, because things don't always go well. And it is about selling clothes, but you are not making people buy them at the till. You're making people want them on social media, want them through magazines. That's what you're doing. And you're helping a brand work out what their message is and share it in a really clear way. So students learn to create campaigns for press and consumers, principles of branding, how to respond to crises, and a increasingly transparent culture. It's hard to have a crisis and then still try and sound authentic on social media. You'll learn to navigate that. Good luck. You'll gain an understanding of the fashion industry, its challenges and diverse sectors, and all the brands it operates in. It really isn't just about, I've got to be careful that I don't go on too much, because these courses are fascinating and I find them fascinating. So it isn't just fashion on a catwalk though. It can be beauty, interiors, loads of other things. Graduates, I mean, really impressive. Graduates work in this area around the globe, including some of our graduates working at Communications Store, Vogue, Dior, Hermes. You know, some have set up their own agencies, so this is great. Course leader Sophia Pliss. I would definitely recommend you go on the webpage for this if you're interested. They have amazing films that explain what the course is and give you real insight. Next, and this one is close to my heart, so I've got to be really careful I don't bang on. I teach on this one. Fashion journalism and content creation. It's in fact my background. I'm a journalist, broadcast journalist by background. This course combines journalistic skills with the values and core fashion knowledge. We're going to encourage you to pursue your absolute adoration and an interest in fashion and work out how you can best tell those stories. It's that simple. It's a storytelling course. It is a strongly industry-based course. We're practitioners. I'm still broadcasting. I know that my colleagues, when I teach with them, are still delivering and creating journalism either online or in magazines. Our alum are doing incredible things, but essentially one of the things I must mention is you do something called T-line. T-line shorthand. We're trying to give you, we equip you with industry level skills. So this is a skill that means you can be an effective note taker. We want to make sure that you enter in a professional way and that your CV has got all the stuff you need on it to get noticed and get you into a production room for a magazine, for example. And we don't just focus on magazines and writing. We also focus on filmmaking. That's sometimes where I come in, podcasting, all sorts of things that are happening around the industry. And if you want to know what they do on this course, please check out shiftlondon.org. I will share this link a bit later. You can see some of the amazing work students on the course make and they post. And you walk away with a portfolio of journalism that you can share with others. Now, again, careers include our alum are working at Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, Hello, Grazia, Days Digital, ASOS. They also work within social media and PR as well. Course leader is Josephine Collins. Again, check out the webpage. The next course to mention, and my final course for this particular program, is Critical Practice in Fashion Media. Now, it's had a couple of name changes and it's had a course change a little, and it's got a new course leader. Thank you very much, Lindsay, for sharing that as well. Shiftlondon.org, perfect. So the course leader is a lady called Sophie Barr. She's new to it and I know I've worked with her, but she's taught on it for many years. She's got a fantastic background and understanding of fashion research. This course is so exciting to me, and I shouldn't show favoritism, but it might be the one I would pick if I was suddenly an undergrad again. The reason why I love it so much is because it's transdisciplinary, multidisciplinary. You do lots of different aspects of fashion communication. We work with you. I also am a bit biased, going to be teaching on this. You're going to learn critical writing, moving image, image making, journalism, curation, socially engaged practice, strategy, prototyping, experiential design. I mean, it really is a one-stop shop for learning fashion communications. But you're going to embed that and connect it to ethics, social and corporate responsibility, the politics of fashion, sustainability. All of it is embedded in what we do. So you'll look at a piece of journalism or some fashion promotion and say, hang on a second, what is that doing for industry? Is it helping or hindering? Do I like it? Does it work for audience? You will critically analyze it. So you may not feel like you're the best fashion writer, but if you are writing academically about a subject you love, you'd be surprised how exciting it can be. The course really does suit people with a broad interest in fashion, visual culture, social issues, and awareness in technology. It is about pushing boundaries, and I think it's exciting. If you do this, you can use your skills in any way, but you can look at journalism, you can consider fashion PR, but also art direction, trends and innovation research, experiential designers, strategists, brand development, all sorts of things open up to you. I've got some portfolio tips to share. So if you're thinking of applying, you won't remember these, but if you do make some notes, what I would say is if you're considering popping in a portfolio for some of those courses, I believe as it stands, it would be critical practice in fashion media and creative direction in fashion that require a portfolio. Think about how you display the good ideas you've had. Think about sharing your good ideas and telling us how you came up with them. Was it from a brief? Was it something you did in your own time? Where did the idea come from? How did you research it? Then how did you develop it? Don't be afraid to share some research. Don't dominate all your pages with it, but one page with a little bits of research you put together is really good for us. We want to know how you think. We're not expecting you to be the finished article with any portfolio, but we need to know that you care. We need to know you're genuinely interested, and that's great to illustrate in a portfolio. Also, your tutors, I'm sure if you're still learning and still in education, will warn you, don't put everything in there, but make sure what you do put in there is your very best. And another top tip I've learned from this time working in admissions or with admissions is put some of your best work at the top. Lots of people save it for the end. Don't do that. Hit us with a stunning image at the beginning. It really engages us. I would also say to the other two courses for journalism, for fashion journalism and content creation, and fashion public relations and communication, if there's written submissions, do yourself a favour. Really examine that brief and then answer it. I sometimes see potential applicants getting really confused. If you need to, talk it through with someone, answer the brief. Be clear with what you're telling us. Show us some of your research skills. Show them off. Tell us what you've learned to be able to put into this piece. Clarity of communication is really important. Work out, like any essay you're doing or have done, what you wanted to tell us and make sure you've done it when you read it through. And then my top tip is, because I have to do this, get someone else to read it afterwards. It never hurts. I sound like I'm in a government press conference. Next slide, please, Lindsay. Thank you. Now, this is our fashion media program. So again, remember, Lindsay showed you our 3 programs. This one, I think, is, again, I don't want to go on about how I want to do all the courses, but the courses on here are extraordinary. And our graduates are doing incredible things in industry. I've got to start with one that is really well understood. I don't really need to explain what we do with fashion photography, do I? But just in case you do want that, I really need to be clear here. This is about learning innovation in fashion image makers, right? So still imagery and fashion film. You don't just take a pretty picture. You tell stories with your strong, exciting, socially and culturally connected imagery that really does platform fashion in an amazing and I think quite an inspirational way. So don't think it's about coming and doing something really commercial, and it's more than that. It's so much more. There's depth, there's experimentation, there's strong research, there's pushing boundaries again. So it is about reflecting communities, diversity, society and culture, and we're very proud of what our students can deliver. And again, looking back to that film that Lindsay showed us, it really is about capturing imaginations and pushing things in a way that really communicates to new audiences. It really is, it just boasts a track record of really successful graduates. It is designed for those who already have some practical experience in photography. So, you know, do be aware of that. We're expecting you to know how to take photos to an extent. You don't have to be perfect. I would also highlight, for those of you who are really interested in photography, we've got some fantastic facilities, including the Digital Anthropology Lab, which I think again was mentioned by Lindsay in her first half of the presentation. For example, working with augmented reality. In that fashion film area, you have got a wealth of innovation to illustrate, so it's very exciting. And by the way, with all of our making courses, in fact, right across all of our programs, we have an incredibly dedicated, knowledgeable and approachable, welcoming set of technicians that will help you develop those technical skills alongside your learning. So that's really important to say. So yeah, it's about, I mean, we want students for fashion photography to be dedicated to critical debate around the body and its representation. It's not just about pretty person wears pretty clothes. It's a lot more than that, I think. I think that's the message I'm trying to share. I will say we've got graduates who have got their work featuring, representing Gucci, work featured in Vogue, exciting things like Wonderland magazine and Bricks magazine. And it's, you know, Mikhail Mewis teaches, and he's a fantastic teacher. They're practitioners. It's steeped in industry. You will really learn from them. They're a great bunch. So skipping on now to BA Fashion Styling. Yeah, I'm a little bit out of order, so I'm going to skip across to Fashion Imaging and Illustration. I again have a little warm space in my heart for this course because they are doing something. And when I talk about cutting edge and innovation, what they're making and how they're displaying and really representing fashion is exciting. So say if you're a graphics student, an illustration student, an art student, but you adore fashion, this is something you must explore. It is about, again, multidisciplinary. So we're using lots of different methods and ways to really show off, really showcase fashion, designing and delivering strong visual communications for the industry. So that might be drawing on behalf of a fashion house, but also it might be creating the latest social media imagery that's going to catch everybody's eyes. It is about cross-media professionalism, but it's about experimentation, genuine experimentation. So that's where technology is at the heart of this course. But we also welcome really traditional mark makers. So if you are about painting, if you are about charcoal or pencils, still come to us, but be prepared to push yourself and mesh and totally push together the disciplines around visual comms. So again, obviously there is a freelance element to our graduates. They're doing lots of work, but they're doing lots of work all over the place. So creating beautiful images that work with, say for example, Vauxhall Fashion Scout, working, and we've had some really exciting graduates. Koji Radical was one of our graduates on this course, making beautiful imagery. But there's another one of our graduates who, she's a Ukrainian woman, and she's been doing incredible art and creating really beautiful outcomes that are illustrating what's happening in our country right now. So again, very much like the rest of our courses, it's never just about fashion. It's a little bit more socially aware anyway, I would say. Jumping back to, for me, on my list of fashion styling and production BA, this is, again, I'm saying multidisciplinary. We do lots. You don't just learn how to make beautiful fashion combinations that are striking. You learn how to create the whole scene, push an image, tell a story. It's absolutely a fine art practice. You are thinking artistically how to communicate with fashion. And it's got some parallels to an extent, because one of the careers you could go on to be is a creative producer. So as a creative producer, an art director, creative director, there are some parallels to creative direction, but it is different because styling is at the heart of this. You'll be in a situation where you'll be working with current technologies and traditional formats, but you'll be challenging and trying to predict future opportunities with styling production. You'll work independently and collaboratively. I'll talk a bit about collaboration in a second because it's key to this program. And you'll be mirroring industry practice. Again, the tutors, they're doing it, they're making it, they're in magazines, they're working with fashion houses and brands and designers, they are dealing with catwalks, they're coming up and innovating themselves. They want to work with you. They're not telling you what to do, they're teaching you, but you're working together and collaborating. It's really exciting. And I will say, everything we do in this program, you end up collaborating together, because if you work in fashion media, you can't work in isolation. You can't really do it on your own in your bedroom. You've got to work with photographers. You've got to work with hair and makeup. You've got to work with stylists. You've got to work with imaging and illustrators. So there's some exciting stuff that happens in collaboration. Claire Buckley is the course leader for this. And then for this program, not least at all, in fact, I would say hair and makeup for fashion. Again, can you imagine seeing a shoot without somebody with an stunning, striking, or arresting face and an arresting hair and makeup? The hair is so important too. So you'll come to us and you would learn specialist design skills needed to become any kind of sought after makeup artists and hairstylists. You are going to need to love fashion because we are going to talk about it. You'll be based around it. You really will gain a sense of what's happened, and we would expect you to have an interest in historical and in proper cutting edge contemporary hair and makeup, and how that works on catwalk or in visuals. Again, it's very much about technical capability. We don't expect you to know how to do it perfectly, but we do want to see that you can. So when you're applying for this, you need to share your interest in makeup, why, and hair, and why you think you would have an eye for it, why would you be interested in it, and what your future ambitions might be. And you'll be learning through technical workshops, creative masterclasses, and collaborations with those other programs. So again, so much experience from our graduates across magazines and editorial content. Melissa Moore is our tutor on that course. Before we move forward on the slide, I will give you some portfolio tips for those courses. Those courses are so heavily portfolio, I must share some things with you, which is, look, photographic portfolios, we need to understand your love of imagery, right? And indicating your appreciation of contemporary fashion images. But equally, it doesn't need to be in a studio and perfect. It can be outside with friends and loved ones who are wearing things that share, that speak to you or speak of what you care about. So make sure that you're not put off by it having to be perfect, but equally show us why you love photography and show us how good your imagery is. Be careful, edit, but show us good stuff, please. Styling production. We want to see that you can communicate a story. It is about storytelling, but with fashion. So make sure you understand the narrative structures and you start with stories that mean something to you. They don't have to be focused on fashion, but tell us some beautiful visual stories. Try not to be too commercial in your thinking. Think about fine art practice with your portfolio. I would say imaging illustration is about making sure you give us your best foot forward. Those illustrations that are fashion connected, that are showing your skills. Show us you are a mark maker. Show us that you're interested in cross-disciplinary, as in you're using photography in an innovative way. It's a digital portfolio, so if you've got some animation, share that with us, whatever it is, but do try and connect it with fashion. It really helps us understand. We also want to see your personality and influences. And hair and makeup for fashion. Yeah, we want to see your hair and makeup looks. We want to see what you can do with hair, but we don't expect you to be sat in a studio. You don't have to have perfect experience, but it's not an easy thing to do. You're going to have to really think about how you can display your interest in fashion, because it's easy to go online and reflect something that's very Insta heavy, but how is that connected to the catwalks? What is the interest in fashion? How is that connected to big fashion houses and what they're delivering? Make sure that you also show us your visual communication, as in, have you got any artwork to share with us? Because it's important to communicate visually with that course. I know I'm missing some questions. If I've missed you, it's because I'm talking. I promise I'll come back to them. I'll do my best. And I will come back to that question, Nishika, about the written submission for PR.
We're answering what we can, and then we'll save the rest for you for the end.
Thank you very much. And next slide, please, Lindsay. Final slide, in fact, for me. Well, there's a few more, but this is the last of my list, I promise. Only 2 courses to share with you. So, BA Costume for Performance. Jorge Sandoval and his team do something incredible. They take people who join us on the course and they equip them technically, and they encourage them with ideas, and they encourage them through research practice, and they turn them into the next generation of incredible costume makers. I mean, the stuff that they deliver is really breathtaking. Again, I can wax lyrical about this, but it's about using physical and digital design techniques to create costumes for live theatre, dance, film, television, circus, any kind of live event. It can cross over with fashion too. And specialized performances. Research and collaboration are just so key to this. The combination of traditional and digital approaches mean that, you know, this is about innovation, like everything we do, very much that vision. We'll bring you all the way back to the vision that we were expressing earlier with Lindsay. Workshop and masterclasses help you to develop your practice skills. I'm just going to take some tea. So it is about hands-on making, but remember, you will still be delivering degree level research. You'll be delivering and learning degree level exploration of academic aspects of fashion and costuming. I got to tell you, we've got designers and makers in film, TV, theatre, music production right across, including the English National Opera, New York Met. We've TV productions like Holby City. That's what our students have gone on to do. And again, last but not least, I got to tell you, hair and makeup and prosthetics for performance, they are extraordinary. The things, the ideas, the insane things they put together, the otherworldly work, horror I see a lot of when I look at their portfolios, but it's so beyond just horror. Sometimes it's about turning one human into another human. I am fascinated by it. It is about providing specialist skills as makeup and prosthetic artists, as well as hair and wig designers and makers. Graduates are literally bejeweling film, TV and theatre productions, opera, you name it, they're doing it. And they are coming up with stuff that's just fantastic. Courses will provide you very much that costume, the technical training. They'll really encourage you to push yourself with designing, making and applying prosthetics. We have some facilities that are, I mean, I just want to go and play. They don't allow me. Obviously, also being based in London, one of the things that's extraordinary is that the industry links we have because of it. And yeah, it shouldn't be the way that you should just rely on London, but it's where some amazing stuff happens. So theatre and TV, for example, very much based here. So it's a really important place to be. Again, I could tell you that our students have gone on and worked on the Harry Potter films, on Warhorse. They've had amazing links with Pinewood Studios. So, I mean, you'll do incredible things. And our course lady, Cecilia, is in industry now. She goes off and works and delivers. Portfolio tips is my final part for this. I got to tell you, very much like the other portfolio tips, think about showing your best work first and making sure you're showing us research and development. But I've also got to ask you to share your strong interest in design and performing arts. Show us what's inspired you a little bit. Don't dominate it, but show us who you love. That doesn't go amiss. And also, if an idea's come from somewhere, show us what inspired you and then show us how you've developed it. Show us how you experimented. Show us your potential. But most importantly, we want an example of you making, all right? Even if that's something you've done from home, show us. Don't be swayed by social. Show us what you did. If it went wrong, it doesn't matter. Show us how you developed it. It's really useful. And also, again, visual communication is incredibly important, incredibly. So if you've got artwork, share that with us too. That is a lot of talking. I'm not quite done yet. Next slide, please, Lindsay.
You're on the home straight.
Excellent. And I not for me, I'm feeling bad for everyone having to listen. So Better Lives, what's that? I'll tell you what that is. It's an incredible year one unit that you'll be delivering. You'll go and have the opportunity to work and look at fashion as a discipline and understand it through the lens of diversity, social responsibility and sustainability. And you can practice another little skill, get some access to something else. It's a really wonderful way to experience another aspect of fashion. It's a real jewel in the crown of year one, I gotta say. I really enjoy it. I've just literally, I shouldn't, but I was distracted by Mia's question. Portfolios are submitted mostly digitally, but we have always an opportunity to submit in real life as if you need to drop off something in particular, depending on the course. Next slide, please, Lindsay. We pride ourselves also on understanding that, pleasure, Mia, one of the things that happens when you come to university is that it can be overwhelming, right? We understand that we are asking a huge amount of you. So what we do is try and come up with ways and create systems to support you in your journey. So that's academically and from a well-being perspective. So that includes counselling, incredible counsellors. And I've been a student at LCF not that long ago, and a master's perspective. I needed them and they helped me. counselling, chaplaincy, health advice available, mental health support. The big welcome. So when you first join us, we work out how best to orientate you, get you understood, so you understand how the college operates, what's available to you. This will be exciting as well because it'll be done in one place at the moment. The big welcome happens across different campuses. You will get the opportunity to do that in one place with everybody. We are very aware that lots of our artistic and creative students come with learning differences. So we'll make sure that we are there to support you if you have those. If you have some kind of disability needs, you would report to us and we'll do our best to have an advisor work with you. Same with anything that's a learning difference. We're accepting of it. Lots of our tutors learn differently as well. So that's very much important to us. And we have activities week where we encourage you to experiment, to try, to look, to read, to understand fashion as a whole. Next slide, please. And again, an incredible resource at LCF is Graduate Futures. They're essentially our careers team. They're going to support you, not just at the end when you finish, but throughout. And we have placement terms at SNC. So you'll have an opportunity to go on placement if you so wish. If not, we'd have an industry brief you could work on. But we would help you put your CV together. Graduate Futures will help you put a CV together, understand industry, work out covering letters, real practical advice, but also give you a wider understanding of industry. So those placements, that support will go on and help you. But equally, we've got some innovative students that work with Graduate Futures who come up with their own businesses. I've had the pleasure of meeting some of them. They're extraordinary. So yes, I think we might be coming to an end point, Lindsay. Yes. So this is question time. I know Adam and Jimena have done an incredible job answering questions as we go, and Lindsay's been popping links in. But this is our opportunity to scroll back down.
I can shout some out to you, Kath, if that helps.
That would be really awesome, Adam, if that's possible.
Fab. No worries. So Esther asked, if we're currently studying something not related to fashion, media and communications, would we still be able to enter the course?
Please. We would love to see applications from people who aren't necessarily on a course that's particularly aligned. It doesn't mean it's not relevant. Your learning skills that you've got are really important. Remember all that academic stuff I've spoken about. It's important. You'll be learning, and that will show us, and that will illustrate to us that you understand how to be a good student, right? Also, this will be where your personal interest in something comes up. So a portfolio, you're going to have to come up with stuff for it. So you might want to consider special personal projects you can do that would align with some of those tips I've talked about, that would show off your skills and interest and your potential. So no, it's no barrier at all. Come join us even if you've not been doing fashion subjects. But do show us how much you care about fashion. But do me a favour, don't say passion for fashion in your personal statement. I hear that a lot.
She'll spot them. She said it now. And also,
I mean, yeah, they're everywhere, but yeah. Adam, you got another one for us?
Yes, yeah. So Manon was asking, what is the difference between university and college level study?
The best way to describe it is level 3 and level 4. We use the phrase college a lot at UAL. We are the London College of Fashion, but we are higher education. We are level 4 and beyond. We do have short courses which aren't necessarily particularly accredited, and we accredit level 3 courses around the country. But when we talk about college level courses, they are level 3, so that's the entry point. Once you've done those and succeeded there, you come to us and then study from level 4 on to level 6. If you join us for postgraduate, that's level 6. Sorry, level 3 to level 5, and then level 6 is postgraduate. Got that right, haven't I, Adam?
Yeah. And you spoke a bit as well about more research study and independent study at university level. It's kind of a different way of learning.
Yeah, thank you, Adam, and beautifully put. And also, did I mention 21 Adam's my boss? That's why he's here. So essentially, what we do is at university level, things change. So you might have heard the phrase, or maybe someone older in your life has used the phrase, you read. What is he reading at degree level? You at university take a lot of the onus about independent study. You are the one who gets a brief, you go away, you put it together in a library. That's really important to us. So remember, it's that direction of travel. You go away, you read, you bring back to us. We will support you throughout. And over the 3 years, you'll get to a point where you're really confident with that. We have the academic support teams to show you how to do things you don't know. We as tutors would work with you, but it is independent study. That's the difference. Level 3 is very much it's tutor led, whereas this about you. Degree level is about you leading your learning. You get the information from us, you get the guidance from us, you talk to us throughout. We don't leave you on your own. However, you push yourself. That's the difference, I'd say. Thank you, Adam. That's well put.
No worries. Mia was asking, when will portfolios need to be submitted?
Okay, so at any point, Lindsay, chip in. No, it's just a joke. Portfolios will need to be submitted once you've applied. So you apply and then we'll request a portfolio. So our application should be open, honestly, probably from around mid-October. But that might, Adam, you'd say, I'm not being too pessimistic. October. Look for around October-ish is probably a better way of putting it. So you would be able to then, you would then be requested a portfolio. You've got time, essentially. A lot of people wait till January to apply. That's often our deadline area. Be careful with that, because we don't want any problems with the applications at the last minute. But essentially, we guarantee interviews if you, sorry, not interviews, forgive me, slip of the tongue. We guarantee reviews. We guarantee reviews if you apply before the deadline. But you would apply it with an application form via UCAS, and then we would come back to you and request that portfolio.
Fab. Honor was asking, what are some of the careers you can get from fashion media courses?
Well, it depends if you mean fashion media or, I mean, so many. Lindsay?
Oh, I think a lot of those in the fashion media, you kind of have photography, illustration, fashion styling. A lot of those, often we have a lot of freelancers who then, which is great because they kind of move around the industry quite a lot. But we also have, traditional fashion photographers who could go on to work for magazines or online publications. Illustration, I think, is probably the most freelance heavy of all of the ones in the fashion media, and a lot of hair and makeup is also a lot of freelance work. But with that, you might be working for one fashion house consistently, or one magazine working on shoots, or you might be freelance going from catwalk to fashion shoot, from Paris to New York. Like, they're some of the cool jobs. They're the people, all of the tutors and lecturers within the fashion media program, as Kath said, they all work within the industry, and they're all very cool, aren't they?
They are. If you're a journalist, you may not get the glam jobs, but because I don't seem to get sent on those. However, you do get access to incredible people to talk to. The interviewing is a real perk. So there's lots of different things happening. But yes, back to fashion media, exactly what Lindsay says. Thank you so much for
the cool cat.
Pleasure, Honor.
That sounds great. I feel very uncool now. So that's all.
Well, yeah, we don't necessarily have to be as cool as those tutors. Yeah, I agree.
Nishika was asking, you picked up on this one, Kath, actually. I don't know if you answered it, though, about the 500-word piece for fashion PR comms course.
So for PR and for fashion, public relations and communication, I've got lots of shorthand, so forgive me if I use that, I forget myself. But essentially, what we need in that statement, what we'll need in that written submission, is your understanding of it. Some of the trick is working out if you can read the brief, for example, and make sense of it. If you are in education, it's a great thing to maybe talk to tutors to get some support. It's never a trick question, by the way. We want you to show us that you get something. Now, if I recall off the top of my head, PR and comms is written submission currently on the website. It may update before the application's open for next year, but it's asking for you to show us and illustrate your knowledge and understanding of a favourite brand.
Yes.
Make sure that you've looked at our webpage for that course and understand what they talk about. Because if you talk about retail stuff, it may not align with what I've talked about, which is PR and comms being about branding messages, okay? Think about the brand. Think about the energy that they put out into the world in the fashion industry, and talk about what you see and how you perceive it. Definitely proofread, stick your 500 words. Not that I count, but sometimes I do. And we really want you to think about how what you care about. We want to find a bit about you. And if you want to talk about it from your perspective as a consumer, because it's your favorite brand you've chosen, that suits me. But do think about illustrating any research you've done. If you've got little facts and figures, just, sprinkle them on there, salt bay them on there.
Wonderful. Charlotte was asking about photography and digital facilities and how often those will be available to students per week. Now, we might not know this because of the Stratford move, but I don't know.
Yeah, we're moving to a new location, but we have incredible studio spaces, and I have gone and done the tour. Now, they gave staff a little tour a little while ago. Not all staff can do it, and I was very lucky to get on one. And currently we're fitting the building, so we can't let anybody in there. But what I can tell you is we will share any details of how the building's looking as we go, but it's got some exciting spaces. There may not be studios for everyone, but digital is at the heart of what we're doing. So I can't tell you how many are facilities or how plentiful they'll be, but I can tell you digital is so important to us. They'll be provided.
Yeah, and the courses that rely on digital, you know, fashion photography, where we're expecting you to be shooting in studios, we would never then expect you to go and pay or book for a studio. When we have courses that rely on facilities, we'll provide the facilities, and then there'll be booking systems, there'll be ways that everyone has an equal fair share. There's no kind of favoritism, but courses that need them will have them, and those facilities will be available.
Exactly. Actually, Lindsay's just reminded me that our fashion photography students do get a priority at certain points of the year because we know how much you need those facilities, and we have access to some incredible equipment. Sometimes they let me play in the stalls and I have a look at some of the stuff we have, and it's just beautiful. If you are a photographer, chef's kiss.
Yeah, it's like that. And you've got hair and makeup studios, they're like walking into an episode of Glow Up. It's incredible. In fact, the performance courses have rooms full of sewing machines, you know, so each course that needs specialist skills, we then will have equipment that you can either borrow or rent or book, so that it, you know, you're not left kind of high and dry having to sort that yourself. There's lots of different things on site.
And I'll reiterate, the technicians are incredible and they'll be working with you as well.
Yes.
We've got so many questions. I think were we supposed to wrap up at 6, Adam?
I was just going to say, yeah, we're a little bit over time. I don't know whether we want to take a few more
I'm really
okay.
Yeah, I'm okay too. So if you need to leave, and we're so sorry you've not been able to.
Maybe we'll just say if we just don't add any more questions to the chat, and we'll just go through what we've got left in there.
So I'll quickly say to any of our attendees who need to leave, thank you for joining us. Remember, Adam's completely correct. If you want to know more, come to our in-person session in centre of London if you're able to. And if not, maybe check out some of our other resources that we have. They're really, really useful, and they'll give you information.
And we've recorded the session as well, so we'll be sending that out to everybody.
Brilliant.
Ariana was asking about foundation courses. Do you need to have a foundation course before you apply to a fashion comms course?
I did kind of try and allude to that earlier when we answered a question. You don't need a foundation course, but goodness, they are helpful. They'll give you portfolio material, advice from creative tutors. There's lots of incredible things at foundation level that will help you determine what you want to do. So foundations are really incredible, really useful. However, not necessary at all. But you will need to work on portfolios if you don't have that help and that assistance with that course matter.
Fab. Elena was asking about the written piece for Fashion PR and Comms, which asks you to talk about your favourite designer. She's asking, is it also beneficial to talk about your favourite designer in your personal statement as well?
Designer or brand or, fashion house, definitely share that and bring that with you, definitely.
Wonderful. Charlotte was asking about fashion imaging and illustration. Does that have a large photography base? Is it an option to use a lot of and develop skills of photography within that course?
It absolutely is. It's cross-disciplinary. I kept using multi, but this is about combining image making in different ways. So absolutely, definitely, you'll be using photography. Now, I can't say that it's everything in that. We still need mark makers. You still would be expected to have some basics to be able to feel comfortable on the course. There's a lot of it, and fashion is sometimes always about that too. So I would say it's never just straight photography. It's never just photography. It's always a combination thereof with something else, is probably the better way of putting it.
Brilliant. Catherine was asking what makes an application really, really stand out. Big question.
Oh,
passion for fashion?
Passion for
not
fashion.
that. unless you're laughing at it with me.
I think passion does not. When someone has a genuine passion and you can see why they're excited about something, and they're bringing themselves to the person, you know, they're bringing themselves to the application. As Kath said earlier, we're not expecting the finished article. You leave as the finished article, but you're coming with something that we can see potential, that you're excited, you've put the work in, you've got examples of what you're passionate about, that does really come across. When someone's made the effort, I think it really comes through in a portfolio.
I don't want to suggest that polish isn't important, but passion, not the phrase, but the actual activity. your appetite for fashion. I've somehow got to try and tell that you would spend 3 years talking about fashion without even taking a breath, because we will talk to you about fashion the whole 3 years. So I don't want students going, can I do it on something else? No, it really is about you exploring something that you're genuinely inspired by and sharing why. And also, it can be as simple as clarity of message in your statement. Why is it up? Why us? Why fashion? Why this course? What is it that interests you? I know statements can be really hard because you're applying for lots of different courses, so it can be tricky, but it's never hurts for you to tell me your ambition is to be, and you can list a few things. I want to make a difference in styling. I want to change the industry. I've got a perspective on this. Share that with me, absolutely. And yeah, tell me about your life and your background and how it is intertwined with it too. It's not easy, but your portfolio is another way to stand out. And I'm trying to share some top tips. We're going to have some assets online to give you portfolio advice very soon as well. That will update what we've got. So even if you've looked at it already, go back and check it in a couple of months.
Great. Tatiana was asking, how many people do they generally accept onto the prosthetic and makeup course?
That's a tough question.
I can help
so remind me
again,
it was how many people are they expecting to accept on each course, or?
Yes, onto the prosthetic course. I mean, this changes every year, doesn't it, Kath? And I think what we try and do is keep the course sizes quite small, so that you get that one-to-one support and you get that kind of access to the facilities.
Yeah, I won't necessarily reveal numbers with you, but because it really does depend on the year. But do know that we get lots of applications for it. So leaving it to the last minute, not putting too much effort in, it may not work for you. It's a popular course, so do make sure that you put the effort in as we've described. I can't necessarily say, but it is a small group. That's the best way of putting it, actually, Adam. It's often a small, compact group because we need to make sure you get well supported with those activities that are involved, the making.
You get a bench in that glow-up room. Important.
Yes, well, actually, prosthetics is not just the glow-up room. You're in the workshop as well, vacuum forming something and silicone making, and then dousing one of our heads in plaster of Paris or something like that. It's crazy in there. It's crazy.
Amazing. Emily is asking about the interview process, and obviously, Kath, we don't interview everybody. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
So I'll summarise that, and considering the time, I'm going to try and be more brief than I have been. Long story short, we will look at portfolio and try and attempt to offer from portfolio. If we think we are interested, but we need to ask some questions, we will contact you and attempt to have a kind of student-focused chat about it. They're not very, our interviews aren't incredibly formal, so it's not crazy, but you will need to prepare some details about why you want to join us, what you've been doing, your ambitions, those kind of things that I've talked about. But essentially, it's only really a small amount of people that would get interviewed, and it would be because we need some more clarity, for example, on something, or we want to explore something that you've mentioned in your application or portfolio. But we don't generally interview the same way as some other colleges might.
Fab. Maisie's asking about scholarships and bursaries. I can answer that one. We've got a range of financial support packages available. We will get the link for that. Hopefully Jimena's still here and she can dig out the link for that and drop that in the chat for you, Maisie. And you can have a look on there and see what is available. We've answered lots of these questions now. Just scrolling down.
Can I quickly, while you're looking, Adam, I'm just going to say I've just seen another question from Mia. Hello again, Mia. All about, I won't go through all the courses because some people won't be interested, but check out the webpage. It will say course and entry requirements, and on there it tells you exactly what you need. And also, here's a top tip: if you are worried that your results won't be perfect, don't worry, still apply. Maybe your portfolio will push it over the edge for us, okay? So just apply, and hopefully it'll be good. Okay, so I think that works for Mia's question, I hope. So do check out the webpage. It's the perfect place to find something. Pleasure, Mia. I'm looking forward to seeing your application in a couple of years this year.
And then, I can also jump in. There's one on work experience, and do internships count? Yes. internships,
if you've done an
anywhere
internship,
that's related.
mention it.
Yeah, anything that's related to the industry, fantastic. That's we want to hear about it.
Anushka's question as well, because she was asking if she takes a gap year, what would be useful to do in that gap year? And I suppose, you know, internships would be a super thing to do during that time as well.
Oh,
Listen,
and also they help you sometimes develop. If you're unsure of, I don't know, if you wanted to do illustration or were you more leaning towards photography, doing some internships. I know for me, when I did them when I graduated, kind of I slightly shifted what I did. So I think it can really help in your future career as to what you want to focus on.
Some internships around fashion can be quite exclusive. You can be competing against slightly older, I say older or more experienced, depending on, we have mature students as well. So you might be competing with people who are in industry or in education. The other thing you can do in lots of ways now is you can DIY it. You can come up with a project in your gap year. You can, if you wanted to come into the communication program, or actually performance or media, create your own magazine, event, offer to go and make clothes or work with someone who's making clothes for an amateur event. Anything that shows us that you really care and shows us work for your portfolio is a good plan. So in your gap year, you can get creative. I've seen some incredible efforts from applicants making their own digital magazines, for example, and they've collaborated with other people who care about different bits. So the combination is they've become the editor of their own magazine in their gap year.
I think we've got one more question that I think we haven't answered, and then I think we can wrap it up, from Elena, which I think is a really interesting one. If we apply to a certain course, but if you think we might be better suited for a different one, will you redirect us?
Yes. Should we leave it there? No, that's one of my actual jobs, Elena. What we do is we ask our tutors, and I review, and the other tutors that review, we ask everybody to highlight, flag up anybody who might be applying for one course, but maybe better suited to another. So we do our best to give you assistance with that. I do my best to try and contact people before I do it, but you might just get an offer for another course because we feel really strongly that you are more suited to it. And by the way, when that happens, if that happens, you don't have to take it. It's up to you what you do. But I would always urge people to talk to loved ones about it and have a chat with your friends and fam and say, hey, what do you think of this as an idea? Just, you know, and tutors and anyone really. And we do our best to try and assist. So if you needed more information on it, you could email our admissions team and maybe they'd be able to put you in contact with me and I could assist too.
Fab. Perfect. I think we will wrap it up there, because I think we've covered everything. If we haven't answered your question, I think we've gone through most of them, but if you do have any other questions after tonight, do please drop us an email. You can contact fashion.contact@arts.ac.uk. And again, I'll pop that in the chat for you and we can answer any questions that you might have. But a big thank you for coming along, and a big thank you to Lindsay and Kath as well for your session.
Yeah, thank you for sticking with us.
I
know not everyone could stay, but we really appreciate it. And thank you, Lindsay, you were rocking.
Thank you, Kath. Thank you, Adam. And thanks everyone for coming. And you'll get the recording, so you might, and there's various links and stuff. And also, one final top tip, always look up the kind of course leaders and tutors. All their names are online. And I think it gives you a real insight into what they're all about and a bit more about the course and about them.
I couldn't agree more, Lindsay. That's an excellent tip.
Stalk your future teachers.
But do
online.
But do, and my top tip, back to, I've said it already, come to our open day. If you can make it to London, come in person. And at the very least, we'll base it somewhere where there's loads of other retail if you want to do some shopping.
Absolutely. And there's lots of thank yous in the chat, so I think everybody's found this super useful. So again, thank you for your time. And thank you everybody for coming along tonight. And hopefully we'll see you in the near future. So thank you and have a good evening.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.